Welcome to Australia's second biggest trading partner, Japan. More than $70 billion worth of goods get shipped between the two countries every year. That's just shy of 15% of everything Australia exports. And just 1,000 kilometres behind me is Australia's fourth largest trading partner, South Korea. The Koreans trade just over $50 billion worth of goods with us each year. That's 6.6% of everything Australia exports. The problem is our second and fourth largest trading partners have got themselves into a trade war. And with the US and China already in dispute, that's not good news for us.
Australia's main relationship with Japan is supplying the materials that keep Japan going, and if Japan's going to slow as a result of that, it won't be much help for Australia. So there's massive contracts there.
Japan removed South Korea from its so-called list of white countries, 27 countries that are deemed to have proper controls on sensitive items like military equipment. The government here says it has evidence that South Korea hasn't taken the right precautions to prevent the export of that equipment to third countries. And you can guess who that might be. Yes, him and North Korea, but also countries in the Middle East. That's something Seoul denies. And in retaliation, South Koreans are boycotting Japanese consumer goods and cancelling official trips.
Even if there are any gains, it will be short-lived. In the end, it is a game without winners.
There's one thing in particular that's been the target: tiny chips like this one. South Korea makes 61% of the world's memory chips, and they make them with chemicals called photoresists and hydrogen fluoride. And guess who makes up to 90% of those chemicals? Japan.
Overwhelmingly, the Japanese have got very, very dominant market share in pretty much all of this. So it could cause a lot of problems. My guess is it probably won't. It's just a shot across the bows at this stage.
So if you aren't getting the chemicals, you aren't getting the chips. And that means you aren't getting these. And though phone shortages might be a very modern problem, the root of the issue really goes back a very long time. Yes, that's a good point. So now it's time for a little bit of history. During the 1500s, the Japanese invaded Korea, not once, but twice. They weren't really very successful, but the Koreans didn't take kindly to it. Things settled down until 1905. That's when Russia tried to establish a warm water port in Korea. Japan wasn't up for that, so they went to war against the Russians and won. Russia left the Korean peninsula and Japan took over. By the 1930s, more than 50% of the land in Korea was owned by Japanese. Koreans were forced to work in slave labour conditions to the point of malnourishment or death. The Japanese rule of Korea ended after World War II, and in 1965 relations normalised, and Japan, as compensation, provided hundreds of millions of dollars in soft loans and grants. Skip forward to 2018. A South Korean court decided Koreans could sue Japanese companies for damages suffered during the wartime period. Companies like Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and Nippon Steel. That didn't go down well, particularly with Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who decided he'd retaliate.
The biggest issue is keeping promises between two nations. Therefore, the issue is trust.
So a grudge that dates back hundreds of years is still having an effect today. An effect on companies like Uniqlo. That's seen its sales fall by nearly 30% in Korea. Asahi. That's had similar declines, with stores in South Korea refusing to stock the Japanese beer. And South Korean tourism to Japan has halved in the last year. With the trade war between China and the United States only getting worse, this dispute on our doorstep is not good news for Australia or the global economy.